Whether you're somebody who finds that creativity flows, you struggle to find it, or you believe that you don't have it, the hardest part of telling your story is knowing where to begin. Over the last few years, I have worked with hundreds of different people from all walks of life, from primary school children through to older people. I've worked with business leaders, people suffering from addiction issues. I've worked with asylum seekers. I've worked with people who have been impacted by suicide. I've worked with every kind of person conceivable. And in that time, there are 3 techniques that I have used to get them to start telling their stories. Many of them have began thinking that they have nothing important to say, that there's nothing special about them. But at the end of the projects, they've realized that it is important that they share their voices. In this video, I'm going to give you 3 extremely simple exercises that are going to start you on the road to telling your story, sharing your unique view of the world. This won't take long to do. You can do this in 5 to 15 minutes. And again, this is the framework. After this, you'll have some material, and from that, you can decide how you're going to use it, how you're going to expand it, how you're going to tell your story more fully, what art form you're going to use to tell your story. Creativity is about getting started. It's about making something. So by the end of this video, I'll have given you 3 ways in which you can achieve that. All you need is a pen, paper, a camera, you can use your mobile phone, and a curiosity. Wanting to go out there and wanting to start working on finding your voice, finding out what you want to say, what you want to share, what you want to contribute. We all have powerful messages. It may feel overwhelming to try and find out what that message is within us that is so important. Sometimes we may feel barriers, that little voice in our head that says, who are you to be telling your story? Who's going to listen to you? What value are you going to share by telling your experience? But that little voice lies to us and it stops us from connecting, because storytelling, sharing of experiences, that's the ultimate way in which we can connect with those around us, as well as connecting with ourselves, understanding ourselves a bit more. I know that this sounds very grand, but it is, I think, a fundamental key part of being human. To have experiences, to share experiences, to realize how we are unique from everyone else, and yet in that Venn diagram of life there does exist a space that we can all share and we can all understand, bringing our uniqueness together to celebrate the commonality that we also experience. So, without further ado, I'm going to introduce you to 3 ways in which to start telling your story. Tip 1, I am, I was, I will. This exercise is incredibly simple. What you're going to do is you're going to get 3 pieces of paper and a pen. Get the first piece of paper and down the page write I am 10 times. Once that's done, you're going to set a timer for 4 minutes. Now you've got to stick strictly to that 4 minutes, and I'll explain why in a bit. Once you're ready, you press start on the timer and you go down and you complete those 10 sentences, all beginning with I am. The timer is important because firstly, it stops you from censoring yourself. It stops you from thinking, what should I say? What's clever? What's witty? What's profound? And you just dump whatever is at the forefront of your mind onto that page. So you have 10 sentences that begin with I am. After that, you're going to do the exact same with the second sheet of paper, but instead of I am, you're going to put I was 10 times, timer, hit start, go. Finally, for the third sheet of paper, you're going to write down 10 times, I will. Put that down, 4 minutes, go. So in total, you've spent 12 minutes on this exercise. And at the end of it, you actually have a 30-line poem that captures who you are, the essence of what you're about, what's important to you. From these 30 lines, you can then use this for the foundation for whatever you want. I've known people have used this as a form of journaling, and they've done that every morning. Because the lovely thing about this is that I am will change from day to day, from hour to hour. So you're constantly checking in with yourself. The I was, you're checking what you feel makes up your identity. I will, you're thinking of where you want to go. And in that 12 minutes, you're actually giving yourself time to reflect on your own life. And that's so important. And it's so powerful for just a 12-minute investment. Once you have that 30-line poem, you can use that in any way that you want. You could use it as song lyrics, put some music around it. You could use it to inspire you to choose a few of the more pertinent lines and use that as the basis for writing a full-length story, a script. You can use it to create something in terms of a drawing or a painting, because this is going to capture who you are. This is going to be you in 12 minutes telling your story. Tip 2, photo of the day. I set myself a challenge of having to take a photograph every day for a period of time. I find it works really well if you give yourself a month's challenge of doing this. You're going to go about your normal day, and as you're doing that, you're going to look around you and you're going to try and find a photograph that will capture your life, the people that are important to you, the places, feelings. It can be absolutely anything. There's a couple of things to keep in mind when you're doing this exercise. Firstly, it's really important to think to yourself that you spend your day seeing things from eye level. Doing the photograph of the day, this gives you the opportunity to start thinking, how can I see things in a different way? What happens when I'm shooting up from a low angle? What happens if I'm above something? What happens if I'm really close by? As you go on with this, it's up to you to start thinking, what do I want to include in my story and what don't I want to include, which is equally important. And from that, you'll start framing it to say, this is the protagonist in this photograph. This is information that I don't need to be telling. That's not part of my story. And within those 30 days, you suddenly build up this incredible record of that month. You can look back and you can start to notice trends within your photographs. And from that, that will tell you what you feel is important, what you are trying to say about you, yourself, and your life. Exercise 3, alphabetize your life. What I like to do with this is to get a larger piece of paper, say A3, or even a large piece of card. On the card, I will write each of the letters of the alphabet, and I'll normally do that in 2 columns just to fit everything in. I like to get a bigger piece of paper because I like to just see these words standing out so that I can look at them and it can really tell me the story if I step back and see all of these words together. Again, this is a timed exercise. You're going to set the timer for 5 minutes and you are going to fill the alphabet with words that relate to your life, and they'll be for each of the letters of the alphabet. A could be alcohol, it could be angry, it could be aunt. Then you move on to B, C, D, until you get right through to Z. That's all done in 5 minutes. You're not thinking too much about this. Your first objective is to fill each of the letters. Once you've done that, you're going to reset the timer. You're going to give yourself another 5 minutes. And then what you're going to do is you're going to step back and you're going to see the alphabet that you've created. And you're going to have a look and think to yourself, what ingredients is missing from this recipe? What are the things that are important to me that I haven't put down on this piece of paper? And you're going to add them in as well. We've now spent 10 minutes and we have been able to dump loads of stuff onto this piece of paper. And again, this is going to reflect our story, our life, the way that we perceive the world. This, as with all of the other exercises, can be branched out to do anything else from. It's a foundation. An exercise that I really love to do with this is, once I have the sheet complete, I'll go through, I'll circle 5 of the most important words, and then I'll deep dive into those. I'll explore those words, what they mean to me. And then I can find different ways of maybe focusing in and creating something around that. Be it a short film, be it a piece of writing. It can be absolutely anything. In terms of the A to Z, the important thing is, it's the positive, it's the negative. Really what you're looking for is things that have an impact on your life. With those 3 exercises completed, you could have taken a total of about 30 minutes, and in that time, if you had done each of those exercises, you suddenly would have a 30-line poem. You would have at least 26 words that related to your life, and you would have captured a photograph. You are already well on your way to starting to tell your story. And from that foundation, you can build whatever you want. You can take it in any artistic form that you want, and you can further explore those issues. But the important thing is, you have started. Creating is about starting something. Creating is about making something. You have done that. Start small, be consistent, and watch how introducing a little bit of creativity into your day can lead to something so much bigger. If you do these exercises, I would love to hear how you got on. So share your experience in the comments below or tag me on social media. Let's keep creating and telling our stories together.